USA. 3-2, as Talita watches on. Good serve down the middle. Well, Kessy's there in the block, not able to repel the ball there. Maria has plenty of power when she wishes to spike. Took that ball beautifully as well. Talita had the easy job of just bumping it up for her. Maria is to serve. She was the rock on which the Bill Street and the victory last week in Quebec was built on. US continue to side out though. 4-3 at the first side change. Side changes coming every 7 points in these beach volleyball matches at international level. US from the left with Jen Kessy. Maria's chance to attack, and it's a nice little poke on the ball. Ross was up there in the block. Kessy following in behind, trying to dig out. Neither of them could get to it though. April setting herself to block the line. In fact, no, I can tell you she's blocking cross court, sorry. Kessy not able to pick it up down the line. Here is Ross. Kessy looking to finish again. It's that strong, very solid defense of Antonelli. No on the call. And that's exactly right. Fired down the line into space. Well, they looked extremely good yesterday. Let's add that it wasn't just a victory over Misty May and Kerry Walsh. It was a straight sets victory for the United States against their compatriots. Silver medal at the World Championships this year in the comeback year. Double Olympic champions, Misty and Kerry. Disappointment there for Antonelli, and the United States finally make back at that point. First point they've won on serve, in fact. Talita digging down to her right. And with a nice cut shot to take up the score. I can tell you it's 6-5 Brazil now as they side out. It's a little problem with our graphics department once more. Again, we'll endeavour to get that sorted for you as quickly as possible. In the meantime, we can admire the quality of the right hand of Talita. Maria just to serve cross court. Bump up Kessy, tries to attack. She's way behind the net, but it's set her up nicely for the roll. Six. Kessy, as usual, float serving. April tends to do much more jump serving. There's a variety in their game. There's a part of the US team's game that they're constantly striving to improve. Jen, the weaker of the two servers. And her service this time was well read. Talita just dumping the ball over the net. This is the US to watch what they're doing. But it's the power that has the beating of Talita. It's so difficult to take the ball down there in the high part of the chest. It was a hard-driven ball, so perhaps a questionable contact could have been let off. Nothing wrong with it. Of course, you've got to make the pass to your teammate. 7-7 there. Not much to separate these two teams. Brazil, USA. Traditional big powerhouse rivalry of international beach volleyball. April Ross with a chance, cuts cross net. Maria though, she'll bring the spike out and hit it hard on the angle cross court. Such a powerful player, Maria Antonelli. One of the best at turning defense into attack. She's on form at the minute. Certainly showed that in Canada last week. Both technically and mentally really carried Talita through when she had a couple of dodgy moments in the final against the Salgado sisters. It was a big win for Talita-Antonelli. Took so much about the pressure of qualifying for the Olympics. A minute with Juliana Larissa in the sort of form that they've shown over the last 3 years since Juliana's come back from injury. And no doubt going to be the #1 qualifying team from Brazil. Talita-Antonelli up against the Salgados though. At second place at the minute, just edging ahead of them. And edging ahead of the United States again here. 9 points to 8 in favour of the Brazilians. Kessy takes down. Nice high bump set. Well, it looked nice, but it just floated over the net in the end. It was misjudged because it allowed Talita-Antonelli to bounce. Hovering high. Set, as I said, just drifting over. Nothing Jen Kessy could do about it. April Ross mistake. 10-8. The States are going to have another point to claw back because that is an ace from Talita. Well, she doesn't serve them up often. Again, relies on her partner to string up and rack up the points on service. Talita puts Brazil 11-8 ahead. First set in this first semi-final. Talita now up against April Ross, who brings down the hammer. Nice hit, a very confident one for the States who need that. It's so important to side out there. Couple of points going against them on the spin. Comes April Ross with a thunderbolt of a hit. Here she is on serve. High ball toss. Ball though, ending up as a net ball. 12-9 at the technical timeout. It's good for Brazil so far. The USA, after a solid start, have just let it slip. This time for the crowd to be entertained by the dancers. Jen and April then, such good form yesterday. They had a topsy-turvy year really. They do have the overall head-to-head on Talita-Antonelli. They met 12 times in international beach volleyball on the SWATCH tour. 7 victories for the USA, 5 for Brazil. Of course, there was a couple of challenger tournaments over in the USA, invitation tournaments. A couple of matches that happened there back in 2009 in the World Challenge. Both won by the US, so 9-5 overall. Antonelli then, 3rd here last year, 3rd in 2009. Looking for better this time, looking to make the first Stadio Blanca final. Well, they're up against a very classy cut shot from Jen Kessy. Scooped it up nicely. April Ross this time making the bump set a nice one. It was impossible to return. Oh, that's a gift. An absolute gift from Talita. We talked it down, but it's Jen Kessy and a float serve causing Brazil problems. No doubt she'll try and serve to Talita again here. Yeah, chooses to Ryan Antonelli. She's in a match and it works as well. Well, that's good. US clawing those points back straight away. Something about them this week. Looks so much more solid. Starting to click again as a pair. Jen needs to make this. Nobody to call, it's hammered down the middle. That is brilliant defensive work by the United States. Brazil at the minute in free fall. They haven't won a point since the technical timeout. 4 on the spin going to the USA, all off the serve of Jen Kessy. Here she goes again. This time it's to Talita. Diving to her right, reacts well. And manages to get the side out, and what an important one it is too for Brazil. They're in free fall. I think they've just deployed the parachute. Good passage of play for the States, though. Hoping to add to that here. Line is the call. Scrambling across Talita-Antonelli. 27-year-old from Helsinki, resides in Rio de Janeiro. Flying the left arm at it, unable to get there. April to hit cross court. Talita's there. Antonelli with the roll. Well read though. It's going to give a chance for a swing. And it's put down very, very nicely indeed. US now have a lead. We're talking 15-13. And Brazil losing the control of the set at a very, very vital point of it. Feel it for their own good and momentum here. They need to claw back this 2-point gap quickly. Well, from up here in the stand, that looked very close. No wonder April Ross is asking the question. Referee and line judges in the end just about deciding. It landed beyond the baseline. Antonelli to go. Down in towards April. Looks for the bow. Talita denied it. Chance for Jen Kessy to swing, but swings beyond the line. The States celebrating it. They think there was a touch on the way through. It hit you there. The ball's out. Rather angrily says Talita. The referee's decision is that counts. $15-all then. And Brazil do make those 2 points up very quickly indeed. Let's have a look for ourselves. There was the hit, clearly no touch on the way through. Jen and April being rather naughty there. Over on 2, and it's a good kill. Well, they had to keep their heads after losing them slightly with the referee. Not the greatest of receptions, but April Ross was there to save it. (16-15) favour the United States. Bump up is for Talita. Jen's down there though, gonna have a chance of a swing for herself, nobody there. Talita finishes it off with gusto. Well, that was nice. The States had a real chance there to finish it off. Jen choosing to go for the roll. Roll it straight in the path though, off Talita. Digging and spiking to perfection. 16-all. Kessy. Talita reaching across. And just not quite making her position in time. A millisecond too late. Jen's able to squeeze it through. Here we go again. Just that change of position. It was well played, in fact, by the States. Need Talita to think about it a bit. Talita sets behind. Well, Brazil played them at their own game. It's heating up here, 17 apiece now. Getting towards that part in the set. Well, one mistake will cost it you. Perhaps words to that effect from April to Jen there. They know what they're doing. Brazil also been here so many times before. Real 4 heavyweight teams in the final 4 as Talita weighs in with the best of them. Not really producing a block of any significance in this match as of yet, but that could be so important. Maria walks off to take service, but it was a partner who was reaching high there to put Brazil ahead. Maria bringing out her float serve. Kessy. Antonelli's down. Chance for her to hit home, and she does. Now the United States are in trouble. Timeout. 2 points down, with Brazil just a couple from taking the first set. They've fallen at this hurdle 2 years running now, Brazil in Stadio Blanche. Can Talita-Antonelli finally force it through? So where's it gone wrong? 3 points ahead at one stage. 4 points on the spin. That little spell off Jen Kessy's serve following the technical timeout really did it for them. But of course, they're up against it as far as the support's concerned. I think there are a few American-clad fans in here. A bit of everything, in fact. Remember, we have China as well playing later on, the new force in international beach volleyball. And they've been the form team of the week, it has to say. Zhong Shi and Shui Chen. They'll be up against Juliana and Larissa. Team they were beaten by in the final on this very centre court last year. Kessy needs a point here. Maria's there. Chance now for Brazil to bring up set point. There's the roll. Kessy's down. Still going. Brazil run out of touches though. And the United States pull out a very special piece of defense. April Ross puffs away. Brazil had the chance. Kessy to serve. They need a point here. What they did not need was that net serve. Brings up set point for Brazil. Even if the United States side out here, Brazil will have their own opportunity to bring up the set again. Talita down the line. Jen Kessy will be who will swing. And it's a nice little push into the path of Antonelli. She finishes it with great delight. Scream of joy as they run off. Job well done for Jen Kessy and April Ross, though. It's time to think about things again. They're a set down in this first semi-final at the Stadio Blanche Grand Slam 2011. Well, 29-year-old April Ross from Newport Beach in California. Head of the University of Southern California, as did Jen Kessy. Originally from San Juan Capistrano, now lives in San Clemente. Jen 33, a little more experience, the 11th season for her. All of her wins there on the World Tour coming with April Ross. As Maria Antonelli, also a player who's really improved since teaming up with Talita. 7 goals for them in their partnership. It's now in its 3rd year. Talita, I think previously though, picked up 5 gold medals before her teaming up with Maria Elisa Mendes Ticon Antonelli. First win of the season last week for them in Quebec.
FIVB Beach Volleyball SWATCH World Tour.
So Brazil, a partnership of Talita and Antonelli, halfway perhaps to their 6th win in their career against Ross and Kessy. See how set 2 goes. Antonelli to serve. Kessy siding out immediately. Wasn't altogether easy though against Talita. Looking a little fresher today. Good serve. April Ross really bringing her A game. As is Maria Antonelli though. So many times it's about power with Maria. Really does have a hard hit on it. One of the most fierce opponents in the women's game. Well, Kessy's there. Nice solid hit down the middle. Worth reminding you that Kessy and Ross have lost once this week. Pool play to the 21-seeded team from Germany, Borger and Butter. Tight match as well. 48 minutes, going 15-13 in the final set. Second set that will have worried them though, an absolute disaster, 21-13. As Talita stings the line. And talking of losses, a loss in their final Pool D game to Elsa and Lily of Spain for Brazil. Again, a three-set match, 15-11 for them in 51 minutes. And since then, they've beaten Finland, China, the Czech Republic, and the German pairing of Holtvik and Semler. That was their quarter-final as Jen Kessy again reads the block of Antonelli. I should say Talita well on. Antonelli defending, as per usual. (3-2) USA. Kessy-Ross gearing up to send over one of her power serves. Aimed towards Antonelli. And instead of hitting on the angle, just ferries it. Getting the ball stone dead with a little roll. That good, we'll have another look. Again, just choosing to go beyond the block. Of course, with April defending line. Jen forced to block cross court. No on the call. Talita peeling away. And it's worked for Brazil. Early lead in this second set, 4-3. Jen missing a line. The chance though for the States. A bit disappointed not to test the Brazilians a little more on that point. Here goes Kessy. Oh, wonderful hit. Really nice stuff. Such a tight angle. April set her up nice and close to the antenna though. With Antonelli fairly deeply set in the court. There was a bit of sand to aim for. Concentration, both sides of the net. Goes towards Talita. She'll rise. And the ball will fall with her. On the right side of the court, as far as she's concerned. Regulation stuff from Brazil. This time it was April doing the blocking. Very versatile partnership, this American pairing. Both can block, both can defend. Jen will go trying to poke. It's given an opportunity though. It should have been an opportunity until Talita made the simplest of errors on set. Instead, it's the United States who can hammer home. Oh, she'll be disappointed with herself there. Here we go again. Should have been a regulation bump set. It's got over the net. Kessy-Ross unwraps the present. Very nicely indeed. Antonelli. Oh, she was nearly there. Just having enough to squeeze it through the closing door. That was the Jen Kessy block. Jen looking for the line with perfect placement. Good reaction this by the States. One thing they've done throughout this match, fight to the end of each and every point. Didn't have much of the line to aim at, as you can see. Talita. Antonelli to hit. Well, April was advancing. Jen retreating. The ball was stuck somewhere in the middle. Easy on that occasion to squeeze it past them. Both teams continuing to slide out here. Kessy's bump. Ross will want to hit, needs to make it here. Talita look for the pass over the net, third touch. He's going to set up Ross though. She swings, but Talita forms an immovable barrier. Wonderfully done. Well, the couple that she's made have been of the utmost importance here today. That just reopens a bit of a lead for Brazil here. Of course, once you get a set up and open a lead in a second set, it piles that much extra pressure on the opponents. United States must come back quickly. Antonelli will be. Side change at 8-6, Brazil on the left-hand side. Towards Ross, but Talita's there again. 2 from 2 now. Brazil putting down the accelerator pedal. 9-6 in a 3-point lead. That is very, very handy indeed in this semi-final. Come on, come on, come on, the cry from Talita. Another final appearance in succession would represent a very, very big turnaround in how their season's been. Like last week, their first final of the season. Had previously been in just the one semi in the second event of the season, Sanya. Plenty of 5th place finishes, even a 9th in Stavanger. 5th in Moscow, and of course that win at the Quebec Open. Positive talk from the United States. Something that they're very, very good at in the American camp. All about the mental game. Each and every team that plays on the tour has very good communication. Walking on pretty well off the court as well, so that helps where the pairings have changed. Antonelli is dropping it in front of April Ross. She'll be up against Talita. Look to be a touch there, has to go here. It's hit hard. April made a block, but it wasn't strong enough. Yet another now for Brazil, 4 on the spin. 10-6, and Antonelli's serve doing the damage. Once more, it's gone short, causing yet more problems for Ross. Good contact from Talita. Her chance to swing here. In the end, it's a cut shot. Jen Kessy selling herself at the net. And this is the moment that is really putting the United States behind. This little passage of play, the minute they're blowing him out the water. Ross, now they needed that. They desperately needed that. Very interesting matchup between these two teams. Two teams who a couple of years ago were contesting plenty of semi-finals, finals and bronze medal matches. Both of them, though, going somewhat off the boil in the last 12 to 18 months. Still reaching those moments, but just not quite as consistently. Talita for Antonelli. Mistake though, and it's well taken advantage of by the States. So they'll draw back in now to a 3-point gap. 2 successive points, very important for the States. They need much more where that came from though. Kill on 2 came from April Ross. 5th semi-final of the season for them. Only 1 win converted from that. That was in Stavanger, the Grand Slam in Norway. Gotta go over. You heard the call. Over on 2 though. Talita with a very delicate little poke. Knew exactly what she was doing there. Always favours precision than power. Fits in well with her partner, who tends to go the other way, Antonelli. And this is exactly where you needed to know where you're putting the ball. So much space to the left. Kessy reaching up. The States no time to set a real defensive tactic. Last point this before we go to technical timeout. Spike from Ross, well defended. Talking of defence, what about the wall there formed at the net? Kessy coming up with an important block. Certainly in the numbers game as well, we're either talking a 3 or a 5 point advantage there. In the end, it's the lesser of the 2 differences. So to the business end of set 2. Brazil just 9 points away from siding out to the semi-finals into the final. Talita-Antonelli on the angle. Good start for them. Jen and Abel perhaps need a change in tactic. And they've done so far. If they look at the course of the match, 7.5. Leeds conceded 2-3 points. Now it's 4 at the moment to Brazil. Pretty consistently. They've got to keep siding out though. Perhaps with April on serve, look to put a few points together. April it is. Target is Antonelli. So much space for the cut. A real invitation to do just that. And Antonelli made no mistake. (14-10) brings Talita to the line. Flowed in towards Kessy. Ross is there to bump it up. Oh, brilliant defending. Well, she did superbly just to get there. Of course, unable to make the real pass. Talita having too much to do into judging where the ball was going. Credit for Antonelli for getting down there. Looked to kill the moment it left the hand of Jen Kessy. Talita looking to roll. No on the call, and that's a good point, one back. Now back to within 2. It starts to get a little more interesting here. USA 5 down at one stage. They have some momentum now. 1 point back, and Brazilian nerves will start to jangle. So unlucky. Talita hitting hard. Kessy, though, that's a pretty solid reception attempt there. Ball spinning off into the crowd. Points to herself as it was her mistake, but it was hit very nicely by Talita. Still signing out for that 3-point lead. Decent serve put Kessy under pressure. In the end, after taking a touch on the net on the way through, just changed the course of the ball. Put it in front of the dive of Antonelli. Out beyond the line. And the States will pick up the point. Here we go again. Antonelli diving to her right. Going down in installments though after watching it change course. Ross, powerful serve. It's well taken down by Antonelli. Look at that. Big, big, big defense from April Ross. Kessy finishes it off on 2. Now they're in the game. Well, that could be a turning point in the match. Look at the hard hit there. April Ross swinging the baseball bat at it all the way around. Great control. Now trying to do the same with her own serve. Set up. Oh dear. That is a huge miss. Well, the momentum had been gifted over the point before. This, though, really is unpardonable. And you can see how unhappy Maria Antonelli is. 15-all. 5-point advantage has been blown away. Brazil must regain some momentum. This time it's on the line. So important she made that. It was a 70 km/h serve. So the control was decent in the first place to take it down. Control allied to power. Equals a point for Brazil. Talita in towards Jen. Kessy hitting the ball vertically. They had to be good. Brazil had set up the tactics right, read it well. Antonelli hovering, ready to make the scoop up. Ross, top of the blocks. So timeout Brazil. Time to sit down and wonder where it's all gone wrong for them. They're set up 5 points up, seemingly cruising into the final, and somehow they've contrived to blow it away. States have kept there, they've chipped away. They defended when they had to done. Taking their chances once they've come along. Talita-Antonelli in heated discussion though. He's to be quite confident of forcing a third set here. They have the momentum. Looking to make what will be their third final of the season. They lost the final in Shanghai as well, coming second there. They were the top seeds last week in Quebec when they finished 7th, which was disappointing. Nothing disappointing about that, though. April making a block. Antonelli will have another try. This time with some success. And a deep breath out. Time to get their heads back on. Has the timeout worked for Brazil? Has it put an end to the end of the US momentum? See what Antonelli can do. 17 apiece. We're at this stage in the first set, remember. When it all went wrong for the United States. It's a solid poke down the line, though. It's April Ross, the author. Just over the block. Say that Antonelli looked on as her partner Talita rose a little too late there. 18-17 then, Ross. Point here will take them very, very close to forcing a third set. It's a good serve, it's dug out nicely by Antonelli. Set well behind the line for her, and it's forced a mistake. Talita unhappy at herself with the setting. A huge point in the context of the match then. States now will be thinking about the tiebreaker. 5 previous matches between these two on the 3 sets, by the way. Antonelli had to make that one, really did. 72.1 kilometers per hour, another good serve by April Ross. But that was the finish, good response. So they side it out, now need a point off their own serve. And they get anything but that. It is a set point though for the United States. How quickly things can change. 5 points down, seemingly going very quickly and plummeting into the bronze medal match. They still have a chance to go for the final. Antonelli denied the first set point. Still advantage USA though, still set point. Side out for them, he will do it. Antonelli briefly caused a bit of confusion. Here's Kessy though. Net touch. And it's disappointment from Talita. Once more herself really imploding here. There's also a big miss from Antonelli. Whatever happened, we're going to 3 sets. United States winning the second against all of the odds really. And it's a tie-break. See who will go into the gold medal match. So Brazil, what happened? What on earth happened? Joining us a little late, welcome along to the third and final set here. The first semi-final there, the women's final four. Staria Blanca 2011, Brazil won, USA won. Somebody has to be the winner, somebody has to fight it out for gold. Can Brazil regain the momentum or will it stay swung the way of the United States? Antonelli firstly picking up well for Brazil. Looks to find the finish. United States solid in defense too. Maria tries the cut shot. It'll be April Ross though with a chance. Still going, Antonelli, but denied by a magnificent April Ross. Well, what a point to get us underway in set three. Seemed to go on forever there. Both sides with their chances. Plenty of denials, but that, the queen of them. Ross it is again, venomous serve, Antonelli. 2 from 2. It was April first time. Jen does not want to be outdone. Hanging high. And ever since that huge miss from Antonelli, centre of the court, plenty of sand to aim at, went long. Her partner Talita then seemed to lose her way too. They've not been at the races. Such a Jekyll and Hyde performance from Brazil. Talita needed that. Again, the setting wasn't fantastic there. Just in danger of hanging over. In the end, just about stayed the right side. Antonelli hangs high and does so twice. Now they needed that. Just puts a couple of building blocks of momentum back together. That's Ross and Kessy who have to think about things again. Big swinging pendulum of pressure. Long. Now it's April Ross who finds a mistake. To be fair to it, was well set behind the net. Very, very difficult there. No real chance to have a nice high swing at it. The winner of this match will be the winner of the second semi. China versus Brazil, the world champions against the bronze medalist team. World champions being Juliana Larissa. China coming third at the Rome World event back in June. Antonelli's chance. What's on the line? Looked to be perhaps a hint of a touch on the way through too, just off the fingertips of April Ross. Kessy's there. Nicely done by Talita. Antonelli also just about kept it in. Her poke doesn't win it though. That's on the line. And a scream of delight from Jen Kessy now. Oh, this is brewing up to be a very, very hotly contested third set. And on paper, you look at these matches this morning and you think three-setters, both of them very close. Certainly proving to be the case here in semi-final number 1. Talita. Antonelli brings out the cut. Kessy, nicely done. I wonder if at the end of that second set there was a bit of a hint of, oh, well, here we go again for Brazil. And Remember, they lost their last two semi-finals here. They played with different partners the year before. Talita, in fact, never played here and failed to make a Final Four. She finished 4th with Renata then. Talita-Antonelli 13th in 2008 with Vanilda Leal. Here is Antonelli, and again, oh, well, she thinks it's on the line. Just cutting beyond it, and it's a mistake again that hands the initiative to the United States. Here we go. Quite clearly out, at least 2 or 3 centimeters. Will have go on from Talita as she sets for a partner. And that partner in question makes no mistake this time. Side out for 6-all. Ross's poke. All red though. Kessy going to create a chance for herself. Needs to go over. 3rd touch there for Brazil. In the end, it's just about good enough from Talita. Not a pleasant moment for April Ross. But it was all built on really solid defending there from Mazury Orlen. Did so well to get down and scoop that ball up. Talita and her celebration showing exactly how much it means to them. Just a quick delay whilst April Ross cleans up her face and timeout. Antonelli looking like she means business there with the serve. 7-6. Floats it into April Ross. Nice defending again. Talita looks to find the poke. State's still in with a chance here. And they take it. So 7 apiece. Crowd getting into the swing of things. All manner of activities on off the court as well here. Restaurants and bars, expect things to get a little leery later on once the sun comes out. Ross hitting hard, forcing Antonelli down to her left, unable to make the pass though. Now the USA who take the slight advantage, swinging both ways so much this match. Here in the middle of the Mazury Lake District. Well defended there by Ross. Give herself both a chance. See Talita blocking, only a backpedaling. Here is April Ross again. Down well. Looks to finish. This time Antonelli has a response of her own. That's well done. Screams across the net. Well, two teams going at each other, giving everything they've got here. There have been mistakes throughout this match. It's certainly contributed to what has been an enthralling encounter so far. Well done. Well, the difference so far between this set and the first two that went before it, there's been no real advantage allowed for either side. The odd point exchanged, no real gaps to speak of. This third and final set, we go to just 15 points. Brazil making sure that the States don't get the lead at what would be perhaps a match-changing moment. Considering these tie-break sets, much shorter in length. Different serving tactic this time from Antonelli. Well set behind the line, look to float long. The States, though, despite an initial bit of confusion, have responded well. There is an advantage in this match at the minute. The minute it is the United States, who perhaps have the slight one. Every time they side out, they go just 1 point in front here. It's still so tight, though. Puck for Antonelli. Jen Kessy reads well. It's going to be her chance for the kill. United States have the lead. Well, a huge moment in this match. Brazil have fought and fought and fought. They had the match all but sewn up at one stage. But all credit to the United States. They've forced their opponents into a timeout now. Any more US momentum together here, and it will be over. 11-9, third set. Brazil need to find a response quickly. This, in terms of morale, would be a sapping defeat for Brazil, should they go down against the USA. Again, for the reason that they had it sewn up. 5 points ahead in the second set. Letting it slip with mistake after mistake. Fair play to Jen and April. Hung in there, waited for their form to return. And now they're playing the better volleyball. Timeout over then. Brazil must face up to the famous April Ross serve once more. Towards Antonelli. She can afford no mistake here. And it is pinpoint accuracy that brings her the side out. That's good for the match. American point there. It was difficult seeing them losing it. Yeah, Brazil are going to have a chance to level up now. Antonelli will go again. Time it's missed. Jen Kessy now. Now it's her mistake. Well, well, well. Timeout doing exactly what Brazil wanted it to do. American lead that was eked out has quickly evaporated. 11-11. Will there be yet another twist in this one? Certainly entertainment to the max this morning. Kessy makes it, the US side out. Brazil will be pleased with that little passage of play. Certainly mentally will have helped them. Antonelli having to watch. Given her chance. Jen, April, they just about keep it in. It will have to be passed over here. So they'll have a chance to create the chance to side out though. But in the end it's another lead. And it swung right back into the United States' favour. Jen Kessy blocking. And back to the most important point of the match. Well, all the big points that have been won by the States have been built on solid defence. And the real desire to play right to the end of each point. Lost causes, or seemingly lost causes, have been chased down well. Once more they go again. Jen with some wonderful right-handed digging. This could be bringing up match point here. Jen Kessy, and it does just that. No timeout to go to this side for Brazil. They must face the music. 14-11. And it's that point that came before this one. The long rally in which the United States hung in there and hung in there, eventually getting their delights through the block. Now, Jen Kessy can serve for the match. Rather on their feet, by the way. Antonelli denies them. Still a couple of match points, though. Very handy. States will be very confident in their ability to side out here. Their supporters wait expectantly. Antonelli. Well, great serving. States say we will go to timeout. Still on match point. Just make Brazil think about it that bit more. Good decision to take. The Brazilian supporters, though, keep faith. We'll have yet more cheering to do in the second semi. Brazil again having involvement. The minute, though, Talita-Antonelli just about hanging on. Maria could do with producing another special serve such as that one. She'll have the service once more. 14-13. It is tense, it is tight. So much at stake here. Chance to play for the gold medal this afternoon. Kessy-Ross to hit. Antonelli's down there. Second chance, and although she flung herself at the ball once more, Antonelli this time got the horn, the super heroics. And it is the USA coming back from a set down in this match against Brazil, who move through to what will be just their third final of the season. For Brazil's disappointment yet again in the Estadio Blanca semi-finals. This afternoon they'll be back to try and win what will be a third consecutive bronze from this event. That's how it finishes. So tight, so tense, so entertaining all the way through. 21-18 to Brazil, but they were then down 21-19, 15-13, and the USA back from seemingly the dead. They were 5 points down in the second set. There we have it, semi-final number one with the USA beating Brazil by 2-1. Women's semi-final one out of the way. Remember though to join us in just a few minutes. We'll be back at 1:15 with Brazil versus China, fighting it out for the second and remaining spot in the Estadio Blanca gold medal match. So then, remember to join us. More coming from the SWATCH FIVB World Tour here in Poland.